Guys, so I'm Minnie Mouse. I'm the famous Erin's mommy, and I am a super crafty nerd, especially when it comes to Disney crafts. So I thought I would walk you through making a pair of these little beauties, which I know they're off screen, so I'm going to take them off my head. But these are my version of the flower mouse ears with the wire ears. So I'm going to give you kind of step-by-step instructional video. This will give you an idea of how I put them together, and then maybe you can try your luck on your own. So first I'm going to show you all of the supplies that I try to have handy on my table before I even start. To start off, you're definitely going to need your handy dandy glue stick. This is the #1 thing that I use for everything. I'm not a sewer because of my shakes. I can't sew a straight line for the life of me. So hot glue is the only way to go. I also have a pair of scissors, and you're also going to need a pair of good wire cutters. This is going to cut your wire for your mouse ears. So definitely a good pair of wire cutters. And then I have 2 different kinds of needle nose pliers or jewelry pliers. These I will show you. It's to grab the wire and wrap them around the headband, good, snug, and tight. That way your ears won't lose their shape on the headband itself. So I use both of these. Sometimes I use the jewelry ones for curling my wire if I get a little creative. I also have a bunch of hot glue sticks. You can never have too many. Dollar Tree and 99 Only are famous for having them in their crafts section. Usually you can get 20 mini glue sticks for $1. The next thing that I use for my mouse ears, and I think they make the perfect shape and size on anyone's head, is one of these glass jar candles. You can find them at Yankee Doodle Candle, Walmart carries them, Target. It's just a generic, any brand. This is Better Homes and Gardens. I got it at Walmart. This is the perfect size circle, and everybody has one of these, so anytime your ears get wonky or if you bump them and they lose their shape, you can simply put your ear right around the candle a second time, just like this, and it will regain your shape and turn it into a perfect circle again. So super important. You also need headbands. I order mine wholesale because I sell them at my local Disney Anna Fan Club Expo, and I also sell them at D23 Expo. I don't like to ship them because they're so big. I don't know how anybody ships these, especially because I don't want the wires to get bent or wonkied. But I found the perfect headband. These are my favorite. They're a really skinny satin wrapped headband, and they're not tight behind your ears. I found that most of the thick headbands usually give me headaches, and therefore I prefer these. This is what I use. You are more than welcome to use any style of headband that you want. You can pick up 6 packs at Dollar Tree, I believe. I know that you can buy them at Walmart, like singles for $1. You can get thicker ones, you can get cloth covered ones, satin covered, any which way you want. Plastic, anything goes on these. And then you're going to need jewelry or garden wire, and I prefer to get mine in a plethora of different colors. I think that different colors definitely make the band a little more, I don't know, cute. That's my word. That's the thing that I love. I love making things cute. So as you can see, I have a bunch of different colors that I plan on working with tonight. I usually try and match my color of wire to the headband, and I believe I am using, this is a thicker gauge wire. I believe it's 18 gauge, although it could be 15. I'll have to double check on that, and then I'll put it downstairs in the notes. But your jewelry wire or gardening wire, you want 15 to 18 gauge so it will hold its shape better. And then as you can see, I have a bunch of all kinds of different flowers. I buy them individually. I also buy them wholesale by the bands. I get a lot of long frilly ones. I also use my little pearls on a strand. You guys probably are familiar with these from the wedding aisle at Michael's. I love how these stick up out of a headband at the very end. I also use a ton of green leafery. I think these leaves are extremely affordable and they're really great to decorate the back side of your headband. The next thing that I have are some of the bigger flowers. I like to pick them up at Dollar Tree, 99-cent only stores. Walmart has a big dollar section, $2 section. You can usually find a group of flowers like these. It comes 5 to 6 flowers per stem for $1 to $2. And this is the most affordable way to decorate your headbands and give them the height that you're looking for without giving them an expensive budget. Of course, Michael's has one of the best selections of satin flowers along with Hobby Lobby, and you're more than welcome to get the really expensive ones and put those on your headbands. For all intents purposes, for what I'm doing, these seem to work perfectly. You can't tell that they're inexpensive flowers, and everybody seems to love the headbands when they're done. So yay for dollar stores. Okay, so I've made some step-by-step ears instructions. Hopefully this will give you an idea of how I do mine. There are lots of other ways to make your ears out there, and everybody has their own special tweaking way of making it their own, whatever works best for them. This happens to be what works best for me. So my first thing that I do is I take my candle and I cut a piece of wire, wrapping it around the candle first, and I leave about 1.5 to 2 inches of extra space, and then I make a really sharp angle on each side before cutting them off. I make this a very sharp turn, like a U-turn, because then it lets me know exactly where it's going to go on the headband. Now I've got my circle shape. I set my candle aside and I'll take my mouse ears or my headband, and I'm going to put the ear on the headband simply by lining it up to the corner of that U-turn that you made, and then you wrap the remaining balance around. You should be able to wrap it twice so that the end piece ends up on the top. That way you don't have a sharp piece on the underside of the headband and it won't scratch you in the head. So once I've got that done, I do both sides. It'll end up looking somewhat like this. Then you can adjust your headband by moving them apart, moving them together. One thing I will say is when you are putting your wire onto the headband, make sure that you remember to put them on the same side. So you start your U shape on the front and you'll wrap around to the back, or else if you make a mistake, you're gonna have wire starting on the front side of the headband and then this one started on the back side. You can see it looks a little bit offset from this angle because one is starting from the front and the other from the back. It doesn't make a big difference on a thin headband like this. You won't notice it once the flowers are all on, but if you are making a thick headband, that will make a big difference. So make sure you always start your wire on the front side and wrap to the back. Once you've got that, you will use your crimpers, needle nose pliers, whatever you've got, and flatten your pieces down. This will lock your wire into place, grabbing onto the headband so that it doesn't slide back and forth. And this means your ears won't get big or small, one side more than the other. So I always make sure to give myself about 2.5 to 3 inches in between the two ears here. And then the same distance that I had on the jar, it's about the width of my thumb. I make sure and leave that same thumb width equal on both sides. See that? And then I crimp down. That way my ears are gonna be the same shape. If they get wonky, let's say you do it, you bend them, there's like really bad, don't worry about it, because you can put them back onto your jar. I really made that one wonky, didn't I? Get it on there good, and there we go. Now it's down and on, and simply pull it off, and there you go. Perfect circle yet again. So this jar is going to be your best friend. The next thing I do is I start off with one big flower. I always put it offset to the side. This is the thing I learned in art school. Things always start big, and then you'll work in trios, 3, 5, 7, 9, odd numbers. So I'll start with one big, and then I'll have 2 smaller flowers on each side. I get my one big one down, and that will give me my color theme. And then for this pair of ears, I also added some frilly going around the wire to accent the wire a little more and let it stand out. So I glued those down to the headband and then wrapped it around, swirling around the wire, and then I secured it with a little piece of glue at the top. So here's our next stage. If we keep going forward, this is where I've added a little flower on each side of the headband. You can see it's starting to take shape, and now you're just going to start filling it in. You want to make sure and fill it into the wire, covering your wire on both sides of your headband. You never really want to see the wire on the headband, so I always fill my flowers in. I kind of make them look like a rainbow, so they'll be smaller on the side and then bigger as you go across, and then back down to smaller on the side. So here's my next stage, adding in all of the additional flowers. This is adding height up here. I always add some little height, frilly little ones, whatever I want, and then I add a little bit on each side, filling in. So as you can see, I've done my filler all the way from one side to the other, covering the wire on both ends. But this is the back side, and you never want to see all of that stuff on the back, right? So the next stage is where I use all of those leaves that are extra leaves from your flower stems at the Dollar Tree. I've got a bunch of them cut off, you can see. So I add leaves to the back side, kind of like a rainbow effect, and glue them on one by one by one by one, making them fan out, and then I add a few of my inexpensive smaller flowers all along the bottom of the headband. This gives it a little something from the back, but not too much, keeping all of your focus on the front. Again, you can add any kind of height. I always add a little bit of extra height to make it offset just a bit so it doesn't look like it was perfectly placed. This looks more of a Mother Nature kind of way, natural. So I have my small ones on the side, bigger things on the top, my long pointy dealies coming out of the top. And then to show you another completed one that I really went all out on, you can see I've used my larger roses all the way across. I did go around with the extra piece around the ears headband, or the wire. I've added height, long sticks. I've added my little pearls sticking up, little flowers that I can glue in and have those stick up as well here and there. And on the back, again, my fan of leaves. You can go small or big depending on how much you want. And then a few little flowers at the bottom. So I hope this really helps you on your headband journey. Go ahead and start conquering the world with your Minnie Mouse ears, and hopefully you can tag me in a video or any of your Instagram posts. I am Mark Mouse on Instagram. That's MarcMouse. Make sure and tag me. I would love to see what you've made with your ears. Thanks again. We'll see you again soon. Don't forget, The famous Aaron is really looking for as many subscribers as he can. So right underneath here, you want to make sure and hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Have a great day.